Morning, students. Last class we discussed what is Gauss law, how can we use Gauss law for finding the flux in different cases. Today, continuous charge distribution. What does it mean? Where do we have continuous charge distribution? For example, a charged wire or it is also called as line of charged wire or line of charge. For this wire, if I give the charge, let Q charge is given to this wire. Q charge is given to this wire. Q charge on the wire. Total charge we give Q to that wire. Let L is length of the wire. L is length of the wire, right? Whenever we give charge to that wire, generally that charge distributes on that wire uniformly. In this case, we are talking about uniform distribution. Let that charge is distributed on that wire uniformly. Right? Here, what's happened? Whatever charge Q are given, it is distributed on that wire. Continuously, there is no dispute. Continuously, it is distributed on that wire. So this is an example for continuous charge distribution. Right? Simply to say, it is not a point charge. On a charged body, for any body charge is given, it distributes on that body. Right? So continuously it distributes. We call it as continuous charge distribution. Right? Okay. For this charged wire, a line of charge. Whenever we are doing problems, we go with linear charge density. Linear charge density represented with lambda. Linear charge density. It is total charge per unit length. The charge given to the wire, total charge is Q. Length of the wire is L. So charge distributed per unit length. Linear charge density. In 1 mark questions we get it in board exam. What is linear charge density? Charge per unit length. Linear charge density. Right? What is its unit? SI unit. For linear charge density. Sometimes it can also be written as dq by dl. Nothing to worry. See, for total charge is q, total length is l, q by l. If you take a small part in it, even for this small part also, whenever the distribution is uniform, On that small part, the charge is dq. For that small part, the length is dl. Then dq by dl is also equal to lambda. Right? SI unit, charge, coulomb, length, meter, coulomb per meter. Right? Another type of model. Second example. A sphere. Hollow sphere. Hollow cylinder. Hollow sphere. Hollow cylinder. For these, if I give a charge q, let us the charge uniformly distributes on the surface. Uniformly distributes on the surface. That q is the charge given. The cylinder, the sphere of radius r. Whenever I give a charge to this, the charge is distributed uniformly on its surface. This is also an example for continuous charge distribution. But here it is distributed on the surface. Right? Here also, if I give the charge distributes on the surface. Distributes on the surface. Right? In these cases, whenever we are doing problem, here it is linear charge distribution, here surface charge distribution. It is distributed on the surface. So here we use surface charge density. Surface charge density represented with sigma. Surface charge density represented with sigma. Right? Total charge for area. Surface area. Total charge by surface area. Or you can write dq by dA for a small portion because it is uniformly distributed over. For the sphere, what type of sphere? Hollow sphere. If it is distributed on the surface, what you can write for sigma q by 4 pi r square. Why sigma by 4 pi r square? Sorry, q by 4 pi r square. 4 pi r square is the surface area of the sphere. So this is surface charge density. And for the cylinder, hollow cylinder, for this q by 2 pi r into L. And this is L 2 pi r into L, surface area as it is hollow, right? What is the unit? SI unit. Q by A. Q, coulomb, area, meter square. Coulomb per meter square is the unit for surface charge density. Right? Come on, note down. Next. Next. Q is the charge given. Here also Q is the charge given. Third one, volume charge density. This is surface charge density. I go with volume charge density. In which cases we use it? Solid, non-conducting sphere. Solid, non conducting cylinder. See, same sphere, same sphere. What is the difference between there and here? It is a non-conducting solid sphere. That is a hollow sphere or conducting sphere. This is a non-conducting solid sphere. Solid sphere of radius r. Whenever we give charge or it is charged, remember, charge resides even inside, distributes uniformly throughout its volume. Throughout its volume. In and out. Visualize. So the charge is distributed throughout its volume. Here also. If you take a cylinder, what type of cylinder? Solid cylinder. Solid cylinder. Solid cylinder. Right? This is the radius is r. It's a solid cylinder, completely filled inside with material. That is a hollow cylinder, right? For this solid cylinder, whenever you give a charge or it is charged, the charge resides even inside also. The charge is distributed throughout its volume. Throughout its volume. See here for my example sake I am taking positive. It may be positive or negative. It is distributed throughout its volume. In these cases, Whenever charge is distributed throughout its volume, we go with volume charge density. Volume charge density represented with rho. Rho. So what is the formula? Total charge by total volume, or dq by dv, as it is distributing uniformly. Q by v, right? This is the formula. If you are asked what is the definition, charge per unit volume is volume charge density, right? What is the unit? SI unit, coulomb per meter cube. Coulomb per meter cube. T by optic per sphere. Per sphere, this sphere. What is the formula? Come on, Q, given charge. Volume. Volume of this sphere. 4 by 3 pi r cube. Q by 4 by 3 pi r cube. If I ask it for cylinder rho, Q by, what is the volume of this cylinder? Pi r square into L, where L is the length. So you need to remember these concepts: linear charge density, charge per unit length; surface charge density, charge per unit surface; volume charge density, charge per unit volume. In the coming applications, we use this. Right? Come on, note down or take a screenshot. Okay, right. Next. One of the very important topic for boards and even for entrance, electric field due to infinite infinite straight uniformly charged conductor. Uniformly charged wire. Electric field due to infinite straight uniformly charged wire. Right? Come on, take the heading. Charged wire, right? Uniformly charged wire, right? Using Gauss law. Using Gauss law. Very important question for board even. Well, follow carefully. A simplest question. This is a wire. What type of wire? Right? Infinite. So to show that it is infinite, just take dots like that. Means its length is infinity. We don't know how far it is. Infinite. Like an infinite straight wire. It is charged. As it is infinite wire, some charge is there on it. For such type of wires, what they provide is their linear charge density. Let its linear charge density is lambda. Linear charge density means that is Q by L, right? Even if you want, you can take charge Q by L. You get it. Q by L, right? And from this wire, P is a point. P is a point at a distance, at a distance, at a perpendicular distance R from the wire. I said it is a charged wire. So take the charge on the wire. So charge is a charged one, I said. Throughout the wire there is a charge uniformly distributed, right? From the wire, P is a point at a perpendicular distance R. Let P point at a perpendicular distance R from the wire. Perpendicular distance R from the wire. Our aim is to find out what is the electric field at this point due to this charged wire using Gauss law. So there is a procedure to use Gauss law, just like a mathematical procedure. To use the Gauss law, what actually Gauss law says? Assume a symmetrical closed surface surrounding of that. First step, Assume a symmetrical closed surface. See, here I am assuming a symmetrical in the sense, if here distance is r, here also at the same r distance. I assume a cylindrical closed surface surrounding of the wire. I assume a cylindrical closed surface surrounding of that wire such that that wire is at the center. This is first step. Remember. To apply Gauss law, what we have to do? Assume a closed surface. Of shapes may be different in different cases. In this case, it is cylinder. Why, sir? Why it is cylinder? That whenever Gaussian surface is assumed, we discuss certain rules. At every point on the Gaussian surface, field should be same, right? Let us check it whether the field is same here or not. If this is the wire, charge is present on it, the field acts as outward normal in this direction, in this direction, in this direction. It is just like an outward normal. In this direction, the field acts. Right? Due to the charge present here, the field acts in this direction. Due to the charge present here, E acts in this direction. Due to the charge in this direction. Due to the charge in this direction. Due to the charge here in this direction. As distance is same, at the same distance surrounding of the wire, field is same. If you join all the points which are at distance r surrounding of the wire, what closed surface it gives? It gives a cylindrical surface. That is why here Gaussian surface is cylindrical, right? Such that at every point on the wire, field is same. Even if you take here same r distance E. If you take here E, anywhere, field acts outward because this is positive charge along the radius vector, right? Okay. E, field at P which acts along radius vector, as shown in figure. Clear? Now, what this is? Then what we did here? Assume a cylindrical closed surface, such that wire as axis. We assumed a cylindrical closed surface such that this wire as axis of the cylinder. Clear? Well, then we come to our mathematical part. This is first thing. First, you have to see field direction, how it is. First step. Second step, just by passing through that point, assume a cylindrical closed surface, a Gaussian surface. This you call it as Gaussian surface. Second step over. Third step. What is the flux through that Gaussian surface? Right? And let its length is L. Its length is L. Of length L. Well, here if you assume this Gaussian surface, there are three surfaces. Let this is surface 1. Let this is surface 2. Let this curved surface is surface 3. Flat surface, surface 1. Down flat surface, surface 2. This curved surface, surface 3 for this cylinder. Right? Curved surface is 3. This flat surface is 1. This flat surface is 2. To find the flux, what we need? We need to assume small elemental surface here. Let us consider that as ds is a small elemental surface. If you draw the area vector, is it not the area vector direction? ds, I take as ds3. Here I assume a small elemental area. This is area vector ds1. Here I assume a small elemental area. Is it not area vector direction ds2? Because area vector direction is always outward normal. For this surface, this is area vector direction. For this surface, this is area vector direction. For this curved surface, this is area vector direction. If I draw here. Clear now? Now see here. What I said, at anywhere direction of the electric field is in this direction. Outward normal to the y. This is E direction. Here also, this is E direction. See, E direction, ds direction. What is the angle? 90. Here, E direction, ds direction. What is the angle? 90. Here, this is ds direction, this is E direction. What is the angle? 0. Now, 50% working total. Next. What is the total flux? Total flux through the cylindrical phi 1, phi 2, phi. Flux through first curved surface is phi 1, flux through second curved surface phi 2, flux through third curved surface phi. Yes, sir. What is the formula for phi? Integral E dot ds1, first one. Second one, integral E dot ds2. Third one, integral E dot ds3. We are familiar with these formulas. Flux through the first surface, integral E dot ds1. Flux through the second surface, integral E dot ds2. Third surface, integral E dot ds3. Come on, write down. Integral E dot ds1, E ds1. What is the angle? 90. Cos 90. Second surface, integral E ds2, cos 90. Second surface. Third surface. E ds3, cos 0. Cos 90, so it becomes 0. Cos 90, it becomes 0. Cos 0, 1. So what you get? E integral of ds3. Right? So what total flux you got? E is equal to E integral of ds3. Integral of ds3. What it is? Integral of ds3. What is third surface? Curved surface. Whose radius is R, whose length is L. So what is the surface area? E. What is the surface area? ds3. For curved surface, 2 pi r into L. Is that clear? For the curved surface area, integral of ds3 means its total surface area, 2 pi r into L. Clear? Take as one. From Gauss law, total flux phi. What is the formula? What is the formula for total flux by using Gauss law? Q enclosed by epsilon naught. Is it not the formula according to Gauss law? Q enclosed by epsilon naught, right? So what is Q enclosed? In this closed surface, how much charge is enclosed? See, for this total wire, charge per unit length is lambda. How much length is present? L. So in this, what is the total charge enclosed? Per unit length is lambda. For the length L, here to here, this part of the wire only enclosed in. Per unit length, charge is lambda. For this length, lambda into L. So charge enclosed in this closed surface is lambda L. Is that clear? Linear charge density lambda means charge per unit length. So for this wire, charge per unit length is lambda. How much of wire is enclosed in the cylinder? Length L from here to here. So charge enclosed in this becomes what? Lambda into length enclosed. Lambda into L. Okay? Then this is lambda L by epsilon naught. Take it as lambda L by epsilon naught. Now we calculated flux from the formula. Then we took flux from the Gauss law. Equate those two. Equate those two. Come on. Take a screenshot. I'm writing here. I forgot to put the screenshot. But note it down. Then from 1 and 2. From 1 and 2. What is 1 here? Flux calculated from the formula. E into 2 pi r L. From the Gauss law, phi is lambda L by epsilon naught. From those two, E into 2 pi RL is equal to lambda L by epsilon naught. Any cancellations? L on both sides cancel out. Then E is equal to what formula you got? Lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught. This is the formula. I hope you understand, right? So first, take the wire from the perpendicular distance. What is the field? One, and what is the direction of the field? Second, assume a closed surface. That surface should always be symmetrical with the wire. Symmetrical in the sense, if you take E at any point at the same distance should be same. So that is the cylinder in this case. Then this is a closed surface. Through this closed surface, what is the flux? Calculate. Here there are three surfaces. 1, 2, 3. Two are flat. Another one is curved. Right? You get one formula. Then here we are using Gauss law particularly. So from the Gauss law, what is the flux? Q enclosed by epsilon naught. Q enclosed, that meaning tells you in this Gaussian surface how much charge enclosed. Its charge per unit length is lambda. The charge enclosed for the length L, lambda into L. Equate those two, you'll get the answer. Clear? That is the formula. Lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught R. Well, students, one of the very important concepts it is today itself you learn this, right? Because board exams it is a repeated question. Sometimes they ask what is the direction of this. See the diagram. If you are asked what is the direction, E lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught is the magnitude. Direction is along the radius vector. If you want, you can write. Direction of E is along the radius vector. Along the radius vector. If you want to write in vector form, E bar lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r into r cap. R cap tells you unit vector along the radius vector direction, right? Sometimes they ask how this E changing with distance. If I take the point here, point here, point here, point here, how that E is related with distance from the formula lambda constant, 2 constant, pi constant, epsilon naught constant. E is inversely proportional to R. As the perpendicular distance is increasing, E decreases. Sometimes they ask the graph between E and R. Whenever inversely proportional, graph is like in the previous sentence they asked. And if the wire is kept along y-axis, kept along y-axis, like what is the direction of E? Direction of E. Tell you. Or you take as along z-axis. Y is kept along z-axis. Perpendicular. Perpendicular. It may be along x-axis or z-axis. See, if this is z-axis, it may be like this. It may be like this. So it may be in xy plane. If y is along z-axis, field is in xy plane in all directions. In all directions. It may be along x-axis. It may be along z-axis. Right? It may be along y-axis. Sorry. If it is placed along z-axis, maybe field perpendicular means in this direction or in this direction. Maybe along x-axis. It may be along y-axis. It may be along in xy plane. It lies in xy plane. Right? Tomorrow we can.